glorious. No, I won't give in till I'm victorious. And I will
What's going on, y'all? It's Icon once again, about to watch and review the WWE Clash of Champions pay-per-view. 11 matches, I believe. 11 matches and one match that's not even a title match. So, let's get right into it with some hot WWE action! So, the opening match on the kickoff, if you want to call it that, was the Cruiserweight Championship match between Lince Dorado, whose contract is up in 30 days, I think that's what he tweeted, or, him, Alberto Carrillo, and Drew Gulak. Drew Gulak, one of my favorites from 205 Live. A good Cruiserweight triple threat match. It was quick, quick pace. It actually ended kind of weird. In the end, when Carrillo hit the move off the top rope, Gulak put he threw him out the ring, whatever, and then he put Dorado in basically not a German suplex, but like the aftermath of a German suplex, like when you bridge and got the guy on his shoulders, and that was enough to beat him. I mean, granted, he took the previous move off the top rope, but it's just like a weird old school way of pinning somebody, which was kind of cool. But nevertheless, like Drew Gulak still has the championship, and I'm not sure like where it goes or like who he's gonna fight next or who the next contender is gonna be. To be honest, like with the rumors that NXT may swallow 205 Live and put the Cruiserweights on the NXT show. I mean, I personally would have preferred that the Cruiserweight title go on SmackDown, but if they do move it to NXT, then, it'll pump some... See, but it's weird, though, because, like, a lot of people on NXT look like they weigh 205 pounds, so it won't look like... To have a Cruiserweight championship on NXT, it won't really separate the Cruiserweights from the rest of the wrestlers, because a lot of the wrestlers are, like, their size as well. But anyway, who knows? Maybe Alberto Carrillo, he'll be the guy to eventually... Drew Gulak killing it right now, so I don't really see anybody actually taking the title from him. But again, if the Cruiserweight division goes to NXT, that could change. We'll just have to wait and see. So the main event for the pre-show, a match that should have never been on the pre-show, in my opinion. You can argue. To be honest, I love the New Day. I'm a New Day fan, but the New Day tag match should have been taken off the main card and put on the pre-show, only because you haven't seen Woods or E like in a long time. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that later. But so Cedric Alexander versus the phenomenal AJ Styles. Good match despite it not getting a lot of time for the pre-show. It ends with AJ Styles hitting. The phenomenal forearm always looks good, but the way Cedric Alexander sold it, he added more to it, and he made it look more devastating than it probably actually was. Cedric had the North Carolina inspired colors with the Black Panther logo, because it's his hometown. So because it's his hometown, it's like you kind of knew he probably wasn't going to win. It was 50-50, but they made AJ Styles, kind of dominant in the victory. They made him look like, it's like emphatic that Cedric won't win. Which I think is good because I don't think this is over with. Cedric will be back. Cedric will be back to face him again. But because AJ beat him so convincingly kind of like this time, it'll make Cedric look that much more like cooler to the audience when he has to climb back to finally take him down. Because now AJ Styles looks like a serious, credible threat. Gallows and Anderson, who aren't even on the pay-per-view, they came out, the three of them stomped out Cedric Alexander, which again says to me, like, they're not done. Like, Cedric's coming back, and, eventually he, become the United States champion, and hopefully, it'll be a classic and not some BS match that takes place, at some random, like Monday Night Raw. The one match of the night that wasn't a surprise to anybody was Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode winning the Raw Tag Team Championships. I will say this, they're making, the rumor is like, Paul Heyman, he's big fans of Cedric Alexander, though you wouldn't know that from the pre-show match. And, he's fans of Cedric Alexander and Bobby Roode. And, it's pretty cool that Roode was the one to get the pin to win the Tag Team Championships. It's funny, though, because the way the match ended, like, Braun Strowman was charging towards him, and then they did, like, a super close-up on Bobby Roode, and, like, you can kind of see Bobby Roode, like, looking, like, waiting for Strowman to come, and then, like, when he thought Strowman was coming, Strowman was nowhere to be seen. Then he kind of had to, like, wave his hands in the air to stall for time. But anyway, so he crashed into Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins, Strowman goes over the top rope. Seth Rollins gets hit with the glorious DDT, and Bobby Roode pinned the Universal Champion Seth Rollins. Maybe Monday Night on Raw, Bobby Roode will face Seth Rollins one-on-one, in a match to see if he can later fight for the title. I mean, he should get something for pinning the champion, but I mean, Strowman and Rollins were never supposed to be tag champions anyway. I don't know where the other tag teams for Raw are. Hopefully, Roode and Ziggler now go into a feud with the Viking Raiders or the War Raiders. No, not whatever they're called. But we'll see. I mean, that would be the next possible tag team because the Usos are probably in the doghouse now because of Jimmy's alcohol situations. But yeah, I'd like to see congrats to Roode and Ziggler. I'm glad to see them with some gold. And next challengers, I actually hope, are the Viking War Raider Experience or whatever they're called. So me personally, I'm not a huge fan of Bayley. I'm sick of looking at Charlotte. Like, I'm really tired of Charlotte. So the outcome of this match was actually very entertaining for me. The match wasn't long, which was good. And Bayley, who's playing the cute heel, like the I'm still me, but I just do like bad stuff or whatever. she did this thing where like she untied the bottom turnbuckle, and then when Charlotte came over, she rammed Charlotte's face into the exposed steel for the bottom turnbuckle. Bayley pinned Charlotte, got the 1, 2, 3, and after she got the 3, this chick ran like a bat out of hell. Like, you would have thought, like Bayley ran like the cops were like she just stole something. She stole something, and 5-0 was on that ass. Like, she took, like, before the referee even slammed for 3, Bayley was out. Like, Bayley ran so quickly, like she's at SmackDown now. Like that's how quick Bayley left. But that was entertaining. I'm not gonna lie, that was entertaining. And I hope Charlotte's done now. It's like, you lost. Like, I don't care that Bayley cheated. You lost. It's over. Nobody cares about your 10-time, championship reigns or whatever the situation. Nobody cares about you tying or breaking your dad's record. Let's move on to somebody else. Someone who isn't a horsewoman, and let's get some life, like back into the SmackDown Women's Division, because SmackDown has the talent to do it. They just gotta like forget about Charlotte for a second, and because it's like, oh, but Charlotte's a made superstar. Charlotte's over. Well, nobody else can get over because you're always putting Charlotte in the mix. So put somebody else in the mix so other people can get over. But kudos to Bayley. I'm glad she still has the title. So we'll see who the next challenger is. SmackDown Tag Team action up next. New Day versus the Revival, who are Raw superstars, and now they're the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. So since they're doing the draft when SmackDown goes to FS1, I'm going to assume the Revival are just going to get drafted over to SmackDown officially because they're the champions. I'm not sure if Woods is actually like hurt for real, or if he's just, doing a real good job of selling the injury. They basically, worked on his knee. They gave Biggie a shatter machine on the floor, which basically took him out for like 30 minutes. And Woods eventually tapped to the reverse figure 4 lock. So, I mean, but he tried. And it kind of sucks because I like seeing like the New Day have like, like every member of New Day having championships. I hope this doesn't start this thing where they're jealous of Kofi because Kofi has his belt and they don't. I don't want the New Day to break up, and I actually hope that doesn't happen. But, I'm actually not mad that the Revival have the titles. I'm not sure how long the Revival are going to stick around, but I'm not mad that they have the titles. So, kudos to the Revival. And if they're officially SmackDown stars now, congrats to them. And again, I hope this makes for like more interesting feuds going forward. So, maybe they'll feud with Heavy Machinery next. Who knows? Women's Championship Tag Team action up next. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus Fire and Desire. Mandy Rose had on pink and gold, and the combination wasn't working for me. But, I mean, I'm just going to say, like, I like the women's tag titles. I have no problem with the women's tag titles. Fire and Desire are a legit tag team. I'm not a fan of makeshift tag teams. Bliss and Cross are in a tag team. It's only a matter of time before Bliss turns on Cross. However, I like that them being tag team champions are taking Alexa Bliss out of the title picture, because she's another hot blonde that Vince just likes to put in like every single situation. My issue with the women's tag team championships is that they created these tag team titles and they didn't actually have a tag team division. You know, you have a freaking network. You have 50 million women in the Performance Center. You could have done a Mae Young Classic, like a Mae Young Women's Classic tournament type thing, and actually put some of these girls together to be real tag teams, because the problem is there are no face tag teams like in the main roster for both Raw or SmackDown. All the tag teams are heels. Iconics, Fire and Desire, I don't know if the Riot Squad's still doing something, but there are no faces. Like, you need faces. So even if you got to put the women's tag titles on NXT for a little bit and bring in some stars from NXT, just make some female tag teams, like actual tag teams, not made up tag teams. But kudos to Bliss and Cross. It's only a matter of time before Bliss turns on Cross and goes back into singles, but hopefully by then we'll actually be more women's tag teams, and then we won't have this problem. But it is nice to see Fire and Desire on a pay-per-view, because I do like both of them. I like Sonya Deville. I'm more of a Sonya Deville fan than a Mandy Rose fan, so it's nice to see them on pay-per-view. And it just made me actually think about it. Where the hell are the Iconics? Because I really miss the Iconics. The the Ghost Championship, aka the Intercontinental title, which disappeared once Shinsuke Nakamura got his hands on it. They should have never took that belt off of Bobby Lashley. Anyway, good match by The Miz, actually. Kudos to The Miz. Miz is having a good year. I like Miz. I'm glad Shinsuke's back in the fold, because like they shitted on Shinsuke for a long time, and I knew Miz wasn't going to win because he's a Raw superstar and the IC title is a SmackDown title, but I'm just glad. Like I said, I'm just glad Shinsuke's doing something. Sami Zayn as well. Like Sami Zayn should actually be a SmackDown superstar, because like he's never going to win anything on Raw. They're not going to give him a shot to do anything on Raw. But Shinsuke's still Shinsuke. The Miz is The Miz, and realistically speaking, there's no way in hell The Miz should realistically beat Shinsuke Nakamura. So Kinshasa, to the back of the head. 1, 2, 3. Miz is done, and he should go back to Raw now and find a new challenger for Shinsuke Nakamura. Maybe Apollo Crews, maybe Shelton Benjamin. And there are people on SmackDown has people. SmackDown has plenty of people. Bring back Rusev. Just start using these people. I'm tired of people just sitting in the back doing absolutely nothing. But IC Championship retained by Shinsuke Nakamura, and we'll see if there is a new challenger for him going forward. Alright, so Sasha versus Becky. I don't have a problem with the match ending the way it ended. Becky basically hit the referee with a chair. She got disqualified. Sasha won the match by disqualification, which means Sasha gets another champion. Sasha gets another chance at the championship. I have no problem with that. But when the referee went down, the bell never rung, an official word was never made. These two women fought in the stands, up the crowd, in the concessions, over the river, through the woods, back down the stairs to the ring. And in my mind, I was like, well, since no one said anything, by the time they get back to the ring, the referee will probably wake up again. And then Sasha will get a cheap pin on Becky Lynch and she'll win the title. So they go through all that, and then the referee just magically disappears from the ring, and then they say on commentary that Becky Lynch was disqualified. And I'm just like, if that was the case, if Becky got disqualified, why did y'all come back to the ring? Like, I don't have a problem with them brawling and leaving the arena. What was the point of coming back to the ring if the match wasn't going to continue? But rules are rules, and realistically speaking, Becky should have got disqualified. So I'm just glad Sasha won, because it would have been stupid to have her go through all this and then actually get pinned or submit to Becky Lynch. And if we're lucky, the two of them will actually have the Hell in the Cell match in the cell. So here's hoping for that one. We'll see what happens. Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton, and Kofi Kingston still the WWE Heavyweight Champion, baby! Woo! You know what? That made me feel good, because you don't understand. I was around when Kofi went through that whole thing with Orton, and with the hoopla and, you know, like the backstage politics and blah, blah, blah. You don't understand how happy it made me to see Kofi Kingston beat Randy Orton with the TIP, the Trouble in Paradise, and put him down 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. All Kofi has to do now is beat Roman Reigns, and I will never complain about anything they do with his career from that point on. You can take the belt off of him the next day. Just have him beat Roman Reigns to solidify himself as one of the best WWE champions of all time, because he's running through the brand, like he's running through the entire SmackDown brand. The only person on the SmackDown brand that I can think of that he hasn't beaten yet is Roman Reigns. And if he ever gets a match with Roman Reigns, people are going to be like, oh, it's Roman's time, you know, it's bye-bye Kofi. Kofi's time is up. Roman always gets the championship. So if Kofi beats Roman, you beat the Unstoppable Force. I just hope when Fox moves to, you know, I hope when SmackDown moves to Fox, I hope they don't draft Brock Lesnar to Fox, to SmackDown, and then serve Kofi up to Brock Lesnar. I mean, hell, if that's the case, if you're going to trade Brock Lesnar to SmackDown, send Bobby Lashley to SmackDown, you know, put Daniel Bryan on Raw, and trade Seth Rollins for Kofi Kingston, because I don't want Kofi Kingston to be Brock Lesnar's sacrificial lamb. But kudos to Kofi Kingston, still WWE champion, and I'm loving every minute of it, and I'm going to ride this till the motherfucking wheels fall off. So the match that actually should have been on the kickoff, because it's not a championship match at a pay-per-view called Clash of Champions, Roman Reigns versus Eric Rowan. They gave Eric Rowan his first name back so people don't get the whole Roman thing confusion. So they just put Eric back so we can call him Eric. You know, Roman lost, which was the only surprise of this entire thing. Because I said a long time ago Harper was coming back. And that's exactly what happened. Luke Harper showed up, booted Roman in the face. They tag teamed him. They beat the big dog down, got the pin. Eric Rowan has a victory over Roman Reigns. And I have no idea where this is going. I mean, who knows? Maybe it leads to a tag match with Bryan. I mean, Bryan's going to play a factor in this somehow. I mean, I don't really care for a Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan tag team match, but I mean, whatever keeps Roman out the title picture for the moment, I mean, I'm okay with. And it's nice to see the Wyatt family, Rowan, Harper, Bludgeon Brothers back again. I don't know what they're calling themselves now. Quick fun note, R-Truth defended the 24/7 championship. During the women's tag team match, he got chased by the entire locker room. He ran in the ring during the women's tag match. And Alexa Bliss actually tried to roll him up. And that shit was funny. So I give them props for that one. But R-Truth escaped. He didn't lose the belt. So he escaped Clash of Champions and defended the 24/7 championship. Final match of the night, Seth Rollins versus Braun Strowman, and I'm done with this. Like, first of all, I'm tired of Seth main event in every pay-per-view anyway. I mean, what the hell? Like, you have 12 pay-per-views in a year, you can give Kofi one main event. But second, it's just like, it's just very frustrating. Because Braun Strowman's like a cajillion times Seth Rollins. Like, you got him beating Brock Lesnar. You know, he beats Brock Lesnar, you got him beating Strowman. Strowman lost to Brock Lesnar. Strowman lost to Seth Rollins. It's like, Strowman's a bum. Like, he's a loser. Like, there's nothing, like, he's done. Like, when Seth Rollins beats you, like, when you call yourself the monster among men and you lose to Seth Rollins, like, your career is over. Like, you are done. Like, D-U-N, done. So, I don't care about Strowman anymore. I don't care if you move him to SmackDown. I do not care what happens to Braun Strowman at this point. And Seth beating him was just bullshit. Like, Seth beating him clean was bullshit, excuse me. So anyway, Seth Rollins is still the champion. I don't know who he's going to fight now. Well, he's going to fight The Fiend. So, yeah, so at the end of the show, Rollins, you know, he wins the match. He goes to he climbs up the stage. And when he gets to the stage, the lights go out. The Fiend, you know, takes him out, gives him the claw, and puts him down, and you know it's going to be The Fiend versus Seth Rollins at Hell in a Cell. And if Bray Wyatt does not win this championship at Hell in a Cell, I'm officially done with Monday Night Raw until either Bobby Lashley comes back or till the draft happens, and I'm gonna watch the draft and see how they're gonna ruin the roster, because Fox Sports 1 basically wants the brand split. USA does not want the brand split because they're afraid of losing people. I just want the roster to be even. You know, I don't want a situation where Vince just dumps all his favorites on one show and then he shits on everybody. It's like, just make it, for the love of God, just make it even. So, yeah, so Seth Rollins still the champion. And we're getting him versus The Fiend at Hell in a Cell. So that was the Clash of Champions pay-per-view. You know, good show. Not a great show, but a good show. I give it a 7 because it was entertaining. I like when all the championships are on the line, and also I like how before every championship match they darkened the arena, they darkened the ring, and they just put the spotlight on the challenger and the champion, and they put the little gold light around the ring. Like, I like shit like that. Like, that's the difference between like a pay-per-view and a random Monday Night Raw. So kudos to WWE for doing that one. We'll see what happens on Monday Night Raw. Thank you for tuning in. I got that Titans episode 2 Rose review coming either tonight or tomorrow. And until next time, take care, everybody. And just like Bayley retaining the championship, I'm out this bitch.